Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Network Radio and TV. Actually, today it's just TV. I do a radio show. I am the founder of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, which is a group of motivated people that are all interested in helping each other in achieving our personal and professional goals. I do this show because I truly believe in the American dream. Yes, it's alive and well. And I like to bring in humor in all my activities. And part of the reason that I do this show is that it gives me an opportunity to talk to motivated entrepreneurs, and they're willing to share with me both their successes and their failures. Because as it has been jokingly said, you should learn from the mistakes of others because you'll never live long enough to make them all yourself. If you would like to check us out on the web and all, I think you'll find a lot of the programs that we've done before interesting. And hopefully if you're an entrepreneur and want to join us in our venture of helping people achieve their goals, that you could become part of our team. One of my mentors, and when he was really on a roll, Zig Ziglar, would periodically pop in on my show, and a message that I am sure that you've heard that is still prevails today, that if you help someone in achieving their goals, they more than in turn will help you achieve your own. And I'm really excited today. We have Peter McFarland, who is the editor of the American Senior Gazette and Bright Side of Aging, and is a communications expert. And Peter, you've actually been doing this for a while, have you?
Oh yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, many years.
And we brought along a entrepreneur's entrepreneur in the sense that he's tagged on and actually is sort of a cutting edge in marketing by way of video. Peter, would you like to introduce him?
I would like to introduce our guest today, and you're right, we have a fantastic guest. He's traveled internationally as a speaker and a consultant. He has worked with a number of Fortune 500 companies, Ford, General Motors, to name a couple. He's written a book, Sales in Challenging Real Estate Market, which I think is appropriate at any time. But what he's here to talk about today, and I got to tell you, I love this tagline. I got to read it. He is the founder of Video Marketing Edge, and this is smart marketing videos for short attention spans. So it's perfect for me. So our guest today, and we're very pleased to have him, is Darren Powers. Welcome, Darren.
Darren?
My pleasure, thank you.
Okay, very good. You've been around the block yourself. I understand that you worked with Dale Carnegie as well, is that correct?
That's right, I did a 10-year stint with them. I was teaching and selling and led a team, and it was really exciting to help entrepreneurs, small startups, mid-sized businesses, Fortune 500 companies. It was fantastic.
Well, you know, I enjoy what I like to call as ichisms. Some I just leave alone, some I add my own little spin to. This is an original, and it says that the further back you look, the further ahead you can see, okay? So the interesting thing is, and the reason I wanted to bring out, aren't there things from Dale Carnegie that are true today?
Right, he wrote the book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, and no matter how you mince the words, it's all about people. Life is all about people, looking back, looking forward, and I think the better relationships we can have and can create in business and our personal life, you know, we win. You know, we got a new President Trump. He talks about winning. To me, winning is having great relationships. It's of course making good income, but it's you know, being able to do things like this and share great ideas.
All right. Well, what I think of in looking back, Dale Carnegie in those days did not have video. Fast forward to 2017, you can take that and apply it to what is happening today. So in your opinion, Darryl, what do you see why is video critical for today's business websites?
Well, you know, you go backwards and we move forward into a digital age, and people are busy. I mean, my hot water heater went out recently, and so it's Sunday morning. I'm getting ready for church. I'm busy, and on the other side of the wall is $100,000 worth of musical and electronic gear. And I'm seeing water all over the floor, and I'm getting really antsy. So I run to the computer, and I got to call a plumber, right? So I start pulling up a plumber. So I see this plumber, and he goes, you know, we're the best, we're professional. Pull up the next one, we're the best, we're professional. Boom, you know, we're honest. Really, okay? We have integrity. You know, and I'm sure they're all great companies. I don't know how to choose, right? I'm busy, I'm time crunched, I got to move. The other thing that's happening today is people are easily distracted. You know, not only are we working harder and longer, more the family is working, we're easily distracted. We get to let's say we want to find some information on how to fix that hot water heater. We go to the internet, and we don't have time to really look at all the text to try to figure out, who do I choose? How do I, you know? So we're time crunched, and then we're bombarded with advertisements. I read a book by Al Ries and Trout, 22 Immutable Laws in Positioning Your Company. And in there they said we're bombarded with about 236 ads per day. That was back then. That was in the 80s, okay, late 80s. Today, experts say 3,000 to 5,000 imprints per day. So we're bombarded. We have all this information coming at us. We need to get information. We need to make decisions. I had to pick somebody to fix my hot water heater, but how do you do that with all this information coming in? I think that's where video begins to address that problem, that challenge.
So would you say that's the biggest challenge because you're on a busy highway, or what are the challenges in terms of creating something that you can generate business with and that's going to get you more business?
Well, okay, when it comes to business, in terms of entrepreneurs and business people, we want to be known, liked, and trusted, ultimately, right? The more people know about us and like us and trust us, the more likely they are to refer us and to do business with us. So let's say you go to a website. Let's say I refer you to somebody to do something, maybe to have an interview. So you want to know something about them. You go to their website and you look up. Now, are you going to have to go through all this text, page after page, to kind of figure out who they are and what they're up to, or whether you should buy this product or that service? Most people are time crunched. And on top of that, they're skeptical because all they see are words on a page. When you look at a video, something different happens. People who are watching this video right now are getting a really different experience than if you had simply wrote it out on a piece of paper and they read it. It'd be a completely different experience. Why? What are they seeing? They're seeing body language, they're hearing tone of voice, they're seeing our eyes, they're calculating on literally 60,000 bits of information per second in the video. You know, it's been said that a picture's worth 1,000 words, video's worth tens of millions of words.
Sure, and the beautiful part about it is that people watch it because they want to watch it. You don't, if you see it, you obviously take it off. But in sales, and to be successful, is you got it. Timing is the magic ingredient. So by putting it properly together, the person's mind is already thinking about whatever you're promoting, and then there's a lot involved in producing something that you can be proud of. And I just wondered, can you give us some background that if someone comes up to Darren Powers, says, hey, I see you do good stuff and things, how do I get started? What way do you screen the person to get them out there?
Well, actually, let me turn back the hands of time just a little bit. I was doing a project for Pulte Homes, one of the world's largest home builders. They eventually became one of the largest home builders. And I would travel around the country, and I was speaking to divisions. We'd have everybody there, from the president to, we'd have trades and contractors. And one of the things I wanted them to know was who Bill Pulte was. I mean, here's a man who has a big heart. He's authentic, he's genuine, and he started this company, and today it's one of the largest builders. And I felt, even though we had all this information we were sharing with him in terms of philosophies and operating systems and, and how to really build an amazing relationship with your customers, they still didn't really know him.
Who he was.
So I put a video together. Way back when. And I hired a CNN guy, and we wrote the scripts, and we brought, and myself and the vice president of quality, we interviewed Bill Pulte, and I started taking that with me. And the response I got from that point forward was absolutely night and day. I mean, if people were drinking the Kool-Aid, now they're mainlining the Kool-Aid. Because when they could see this guy speak and they could hear who he was and what he was about, that video changed everything. That video went viral. That video caused my phone to ring. That wasn't the purpose. The purpose was to take and download the brain of this entrepreneur and be able to have his people understand what he is all about. And they got it. Yeah. And then fast forward, I get off the road. I write a book called Sales in a Challenging Real Estate Market. And I decided, well, I don't want to go back on the road. I just don't want to fight the TSA and, and all of that, go through the pat down and take your clothes off and all that. Anyway, I did enjoy traveling, but that was just a little much.
Did you enjoy taking your clothes off?
Well, not in that situation.
I say, okay, I just want to clarify it. Okay.
So I started a local practice after I wrote the book, and I found actually somebody had repaired a window on my home, and he did such a phenomenal job. I went to the website, and I looked at his website, and I realized, oh my God, this website is full of information, but who's it for? Is it for a technician? Is it for a customer? Who's it for? So I thought, this guy, if he is this good to solve a problem for the kind of fee he charged, his website should reflect it. It didn't. So he brought me in 4 or 5 months later. And he starts showing me around his warehouse, and he says, this is a sash. He shows me a piece of wood. And I go, okay, so what? So we look at the sash. He says, well, you see that 14-degree angle on there? I said, yeah, I see it. He says, well, we've experimented. We found out that the water rolls off at the 14-degree angle and won't rot. If it doesn't rot, then your windows last longer. I thought, wow. I said, your customers know about that? He goes, no. I says, what else? He says, well, we have fire retardant, insect repellent. I said, well, what's important about that? These things will last 20 years. I said, well, competitor does that too, don't they? He goes, no. They'll go over to the Home Depot and buy some pine wood, and they'll put that in, it'll be rotted in 2 years. I said, well, your customers know about that. He went, no. Station to station to station, he began to realize his customers, and then the thought occurred to me, this should be on video. A short video about what makes this guy stand out. Because it's in here, but it's not in the mind of the customer where they need to make decisions. Like me with the plumber, trying to find the plumber. I'm looking at these websites and I still can't figure out who to choose. Had there been another way to choose, I'd rather than, simply, select randomly like I did, close my my nose, my eyes, and went, boom, I'll take that one. Fortunately, I picked a good one. But what we found was that we brought in a video vendor, and he started shooting the videos. And when we were done, we noticed that the customers were watching the videos, and that his business went up some 20% that first year. The second year, we shot more video. We tightened things up, tightened his marketing up. He also does the Valpak and whatnot. We tightened all that up. And here's a guy who had a record 23 years in a row before he brought me in. So he didn't need me. I just helped him to tweak what he already had. And the next year he grows another 20%. Third year, he doubles the trucks on his road. He doubles his call center. And the guy who shot the video originally just called me the other day. He said, yeah, Matthew just called me. He wants to shoot more video, So there is a real positive benefit to doing this.
Right. You keep talking about short video. It's in your tagline for short attention spans. Talk about the power of limiting the amount of time you're putting out there, opposed to creating a 5-minute video, a 10-minute video that really goes in depth. What's the power of that 1 to 2 minute spot that you're creating?
Well, that's a really, really excellent question. I was talking with a fellow who has a executive forum, and he meets with all these CEOs, and he says, one of the things I liked about your website was right underneath the video, right above it, he says, you put the amount of time it was. And it said 59 seconds. He said, so I said to myself, I will watch it.
Because everybody has
Right,
59 seconds.
Because we're time crunched, we're busy. You know, who has time to look at all of that? So what I've discovered is that the best videos tend to be the shorter videos. Now, if you're going to make a longer video, because some people ask me, how long should my video be? I'll say, as long as it will maintain and keep attention.
Right.
When it stops that, stop the video. So, you know, even 60 seconds is a lot of time to maintain interest. So what we try to do is, and everything really starts with a great script, because, you know, anybody, I love smartphones. You know, with a smartphone, anybody can take video. And the video can look very, very
good,
nice.
yeah.
I mean, I got a new iPhone and I'm flabbergasted by how clear and clean everything is. The problem is that it's more than just a video camera. If you're an entrepreneur
yeah.
and you want to attract and hold somebody's attention, we have to understand what's going on in the mind of our viewer. That's psychology. That's marketing.
Right.
And that's a whole nother level. That's why people say, oh, you're in video production. I go, no, I don't do video production. This is video production, what we're doing right here. And these guys do a fabulous job. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that. My job is to capture the essence of the business and find out what's your strategic message. How can we best get that across in the shortest amount of time so that people go, I get it. Not only do I understand what they do, they're a brand, but I think I should probably put them on my list to call. Maybe I should email them or text them. It doesn't necessarily going to sell something right off the bat, although over 90% of the people that go to the internet and buy will buy because they saw a video. 60% of the people that visit a website, if there's a choice between text and reading or watching a well-constructed video,
They're going to choose the
they're going to choose the video. And as my friend says, as long as it's got a time over there, because I don't have 4 or 5 minutes to waste.
Exactly.
Right.
So.
And the truth of it is that, like you brought out earlier, is that you should be able, if you're not doing it now, I know you're involved with LBN and of course with our Entrepreneurs Network Michigan group, we always have a 60-second elevator pitch, okay? And it's the key in those 60 seconds to really get your message across. And if you go over that, you're going to lose the people anyway, right?
That's right. And that's what you've been practicing at the Entrepreneurs Network, the 60-second commercial. To me, it's really essential. Every good entrepreneur, or small, mid-sized, large business should have a story and have that down to their 60-second pitch, and it's really a way for others to join the conversation going on in their mind.
Right.
And that's essential.
Right. And what is also essential is that, I joke about it, that how many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb? The answer is 1, but the light bulb has got the one to change. Okay? Well, many people don't know what they really want. They are so busy talking about things that they know, and like you brought out so graphically here with Pulte, there are things that really are of concern that your customer wants, but they don't ask what you want. And I recall when we first got to know each other, you were describing the procedure that you have. And I was complimenting you. You operate really like a psychologist. You ask, what is it that you're trying to convey? And even more importantly, what's the mindset of the customer you're trying to reach? Isn't that critical?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, one of the first questions I like to ask businesses before we shoot a video or do some sort of marketing workup or analysis is, how do you want to be perceived in the marketplace? How do you want to be viewed? How do you want to be thought of? What do you want people to say? How do you want, now, 3 years, 5 years down the road, some people don't think that far, but that's okay. 3 days, 5 days, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 3 months, 5 months. How do you want to be viewed? How do you want people to think about who you are? I think it's a critical question, and that's a great lead-in for a 60-second spot, because you're thinking more strategically. You're thinking at a 30,000 foot rather than, hey, we have this, we have that, we have, you're not thinking in terms of features and benefits. We're thinking in terms of, how do I want to be positioned? How do I want people to think of me? How do I want them to know me, to like me, to trust me? Because I'm worthy of doing business. And those are the kinds of things in a 60-second pitch you really need to be thinking about. That's more strategic. Versus how to, here's what we saw. We make this, we make those, we don't do this, we have this service, you can call us at this time. Oh, that's great, but you need to know, in that 60-second pitch, you really should figure out what's the heart and soul of the person. Who's home,
Are there any businesses that this isn't appropriate for, that this sort of marketing doesn't work for?
Well, when people ask me that question, the question I usually ask is, do you have a website? If you have a website, if you have a social media presence, then this type of thing is going to work because it's shareable, especially if you have a social media presence. So I just shot a video for 2 young women in White Lake, and they're called The Social Effect. And what they do is they do Facebook advertising for businesses who don't have time. We just don't have time to do that stuff, right? So they'll do that for you. And I shot a video for them, and I forgot the question you asked me.
Well, that if this isn't appropriate for all businesses.
Right, I know what it was. So thank you, Peter.
Sure.
So we completed the video, and it turned out fantastic. I mean, these guys did a great job. It required some coaching. We had one who was one of the ladies who was a fresh graduate from marketing from one of the major universities, and the other one was a serial entrepreneur. And she was a little more reticent, so I had to draw her out a little bit more. The other one was very effervescent, so we had to kind of channel that energy into the video. But once it was done, the great thing about it was, when I finished that video, I posted it on my site, and then I was able to share it. Press one button, and I could share it to this site, to that site, to their site, to my friend's site, and suddenly, by having a well-done video that you're proud of, that's the key, right? Something where people are going to know, like, and trust you, it's so easy to share and talk about multiplying your presence in the marketplace. It's a great start. It's not the only thing. You still need to have brochures. You need to have books, right? You need to have all the the direct mail, all the traditional things that you do. It's just one of the tools in your toolbox to be known, liked, and trusted in the community.
But in this day and age, it's almost imperative that you have a website, and if you're going to have a website, you ought to have a video.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, right.
So it's almost universal type thing, and because of your Carnegie training, you've developed, in my opinion, a very strong psychological factor to your life and your talents. So you actually sort of probe what is it that you're trying to get out. And speaking of time, how much time do you feel you need to really obviously the psychiatrists operate, I think, on a 50-minute hour or something like that. How is Darren Powers? What's your time frame in terms of trying to find out what your potential prospect might want to spend on?
Sure. Well, in a basic video, usually I start with an interview. I have a set of interview questions that I modify according to the person, but I want to know everything I can about them, who they are, what they're up to, who their customers are, when do they buy, how old are they, as much as I possibly can about them and what makes them different. What makes them stand out.
Sure.
Why should people want to do business with them? And the traditional things you'll hear as well, because I'm professional, because I've been in business for 20 years, because we're the best, because we have integrity and we're honest,
Right.
And those are all the things last time I said, now can your competitor say that?
Say the same thing, sure.
Yeah. And they'll say, yeah, I said, well, then maybe that doesn't so much make you different. Let's explore a little bit further. So what we're getting into during that 1 hour is really what makes them stand out, the heart of their business and the heart of who they are, because one of the things that people are today, if nothing, is skeptical, and they should be.
Sure.
We look at the political atmosphere and the things that are going on in the world. And people have big reason to be skeptical. You heard about fake news,
Fake
right?
news.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I think fake news is
alternate
taking over real
facts,
news.
yeah.
Right. So one of the things I'm trying to get to is who's the real person here? What's the real business?
Right.
You're the face of the business. What's real about you? How can we make that emotional connection with the viewers? And you can't do that in text. You can't do that on a piece of paper. That's why it's so powerful. So that's what I try to get to in the first hour. And then I'll go home and or back to my office, and I'll write a script. you know, and however long it takes me, then I'll run it by my client again and say, what does it need? What's missing? What do we need to put in here? So it's a collaborative event. Sometimes it'll take an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 10 hours to get the script right. That's before we even turn on the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And so with sometimes people say to me, well, Darren, what makes you different than a video production company? Well, number one, I'm not a video production.
Right.
I won't do things like this. I don't go tape speakers and that sort of thing. I just do 1 to 2 minute productions, and I try to know who the people are, get the marketing side, try to get the people side, make an emotional connection, and that's really what makes this whole process different. And that's why you can't just take a camera and shoot somebody and hope that it's going to, you know, your iPhone or whatever, and hope that it's going to be a great video. Although I've seen some really funny ones.
Sure,
you know.
sure. There's lots of good stuff like that on the net. Yeah.
Well, you know, you address one factor that we always try to promote when you're doing your 60-second elevator pitch, USP. What is your unique selling proposition? And you many times can identify what their unique selling proposition. They're too busy talking about how long they've been around and that kind of thing, which is, you
Right.
know, interesting to them and great Thanksgiving dinner talk, but it doesn't get to customers, hey, I really want to call you. Does anyone really care if it's been 20 years that you've been in business versus 30? If you've got a track record, that in itself is. So you cut away that you really wanted your message across. I can't help but be reminded of how this great sculptor was once asked as to what made him a great sculptor. He said, well, if you have a talent, you start with a big piece of marble and you chunk away what you don't want. And invariably you'll end up with a piece of art. You, Darren Powers, can chunk away all that other stuff. And good for you. And
Well, thank
keep
you.
on videotaping and get your message across and get a lot of people out there really increasing their business. Well, it's wrap-up time, and I never like to leave this segment without my favorite thought, and that is, my thought is that if you really want to get anything done in life, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. And there is no excuse for not achieving your dreams and goals in America, because it is the greatest country in the whole world. Remember, a goal is just a dream with a deadline.